Welcome back to Two Therapists Walk Into a Podcast. I'm Robin Green, LCSW.
And I'm Stephanie Edsall, LCSW. We're so glad you're here. If you're new, hi. We're two licensed therapists and longtime friends who like to talk about mental health, trauma, and healing in a way that's science-backed, accessible, and not too buttoned up. Our goal is to make conversations about healing more honest, more human, and a little easier to understand.
Before we dive in, let's just take a moment to arrive together. If you're listening while driving, walking, or multitasking, that's okay. And if you're able to pause for a second, take a gentle breath, notice the support beneath you, and maybe even ask yourself, what's the pace of my body right now? Is it fast, slow, frozen? Just notice. No need to change anything.
This little pause helps us ground before we jump into heavier topics. No pressure to change anything, just gently noticing where you are as we begin.
Today we're talking about something that comes up all the time in our work and even in our own lives. And that's the difference between true regulation and disconnection. In other words, are you really calm or are you just shut down?
Oof, big one. And we know this hits because on the surface, you might look totally okay. People might even think you're the chill one, the strong one. But inside, you might feel numb, disengaged, or like you're just going through the motions.
Let's take a moment to pause here. Maybe unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders. You're not just listening, your body's here too. Let it catch up. So let's start with a working definition. When we talk about regulation, we're talking about a nervous system state where you feel connected, safe, and grounded. You have access to your full brain, your thinking, your emotions, your body. You're able to respond to life, not just react.
Exactly. And disconnection, or what we call dorsal vagal shutdown in polyvagal theory, is when your system basically says, this is too much, and it pulls the plug. You might feel flat, foggy, emotionally distant, or even like you're watching your life happen from outside your body.
Yeah. And here's the tricky part. Both states can look calm. One is calm and connected. The other is calm and checked out. And a lot of us, especially trauma survivors, have gotten really good at living in that checked out version of calm. We learned that that was safer.
Makes so much sense. So today, we want to help you start to notice the difference. Not to judge yourself, never that, but to increase your awareness. Because when you can tell the difference, you have more choice.
So before we jump ahead, I'm curious, Stephanie, was there a time when you realized you were confusing disconnection for regulation?
Absolutely. I think there were times when I thought I was being zen or composed, especially in hard conversations. You know, you want to believe you're that good. But really, I had gone totally numb. Like, my voice was calm, but I wasn't in the room emotionally. What about you?
Totally. I used to get praised for how level-headed I was in a crisis, but I've realized that a lot of that time I was completely shut down. No emotion, no access to my body, just doing what I had to do, essentially.
Yep. That functional freeze zone. I mean, it totally gets stuff done, but it's not sustainable.
Right. So let's talk about how these states feel. When I'm truly regulated, I feel present. Like I can feel my feet, I can feel my breath, I can make eye contact and actually listen, not just nod while my brain is somewhere else.
Same. Regulated feels like there's space in my chest. I'm not gripping or bracing. I might still be experiencing something hard, but I'm in it. I'm not running from it.
Now compare that to disconnection. For me, that's when I get really still, but not in a peaceful way. I stop feeling things. My thoughts go fuzzy. I start saying I'm fine a lot, even when I'm not.
You too? Disconnection often feels productive on the outside. It can get stuff done, and I can hold it together, but there's no emotional engagement. So I'm not really in my body.
That's a huge point. Our culture tends to reward that kind of numb functioning. Look how composed she is. But we're not talking about thriving. We're talking about surviving.
Yeah. It reminds me of how often people mistake dissociation for regulation, especially in high-stress jobs. Like, calm under pressure isn't always calm. It might be collapse just with a smile.
Yes, we perform regulation instead of actually living in it.
Well, let's talk about why we disconnect in the first place. It's not a flaw. Remember, this is a built-in survival response. Our nervous systems are wired to protect us.
Exactly. If you grew up in an environment where being fully present wasn't safe, maybe emotions were punished, maybe there was chaos or neglect, then disconnecting became a way to stay safe.
That dorsal shutdown isn't weakness. It's wisdom. But if it becomes your default, it can start to limit your life. You might stop feeling joy, intimacy, creativity, because those also require presence.
And yeah, just to be super clear, there's no shame in realizing you've been in that state. A lot of us spend years there. Awareness is the first compassionate step towards change.
Don't be surprised if there's a grief process in that, just knowing that you
sure.
have spent so much time in that mode. And again, it's kind of like last episode, you don't get to punish yourself for the stuff you did not know you did not know. That's what we're here to teach you. And in fact, how do you tell the difference? So how can you tell if you're regulated or disconnected? One question I often ask clients is, do you feel choice right now?
Yes, regulation gives us choice. We can pause, we can connect, we can say yes or no. Disconnection usually feels like going through the motions, like you're stuck on autopilot.
Exactly. Another sign. Can you feel your body? Not just notice it intellectually, but feel your breath, your feet on the floor, the temperature in the room. That's presence.
Right. And maybe even, can you connect to another person right now? That ventral vagal state allows for social engagement, co-regulation. Can you smile? Make eye contact? Feel warmth towards someone?
Or do you feel flat? Like you could be in a room full of people and still not feel connected. That's a sign of disconnection.
So here's a little something for our listeners. Think of a moment this week where you felt calm. Now, ask yourself, was that calm connected or calm disconnected? Did you feel present? Or were you just quiet? So, what do we do when we notice we're disconnected? First off, no rushing. The goal isn't to fix it, but to offer your system enough safety to come back online.
Yes, we've talked about it before, but I want to mention it again. One of my favorite tools is orienting. Just looking around the room, noticing colors, lights, shapes. It's a gentle way to signal to your body that you're safe. I even recommend maybe getting a little tiny kit together, like a little sensory kit that you can keep nearby or on your person. If you do get overwhelmed or overstimulated, you have something that you can come back to and ground with. Tools can be very useful, especially when you have them right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Another one is movement. Even stretching, rocking side to side, or standing up. Disconnection is stillness. So a little motion can start to shift you upward on that nervous system ladder.
And of course, connection. If there's someone safe, co-regulating with them can be powerful. But even placing a hand on your heart and saying, I'm here, can help.
One more simple one. Drink something warm and really notice that sensation. Feel it on your tongue, your throat. That mindful awareness is a tiny bridge back into your body. So, are you really calm or are you just disconnected? Hopefully today gave you a few ways to start noticing the difference with more kindness and curiosity.
Which brings us to today's nervous system nugget. Calm doesn't always mean regulated. Sometimes it means shut down. That quiet can come from a place of safety or a place of survival.
So maybe check in with yourself right now. Let's pause here for a breath together. Inhale and exhale. Can you feel your body? Do you feel choice in this moment? Just notice gently, without judgment.
This work takes time, and that's okay. There is no quick fix, despite what society might say. And every moment you choose awareness over autopilot, you're already practicing regulation.
I like that.
Me too.
Awareness over autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, we're talking about healing not being linear and why that's actually a really good thing. So make sure you're subscribed and share this episode with someone who might need it. And wherever you are in your process, we just want to remind you, you're doing better than you think. And we're really glad you're here.
Until next time, remember, healing isn't linear.
And we're here for the ride.
Thanks for sitting with us today. If something resonated, we'd love it if you shared the episode, left a review, or connected with us on social media. We're two therapists walk into a podcast on most platforms. You can listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not therapy, does not replace therapy, and does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you're in crisis, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional or call 988 in the US. Robin Green is a licensed therapist in Arizona, and Stephanie Edsall is licensed in Utah, and this podcast is intended for a general audience.